Hi, I'm Dom Hind, and I'm nearly 50. Actually, I'm 47 and 4 months, and I am starting to count. Let's be real. Aging is a bit of a minefield. One minute your skin is holding it together, and the next you're wondering when your jawline started migrating south, why your face looks permanently tired, and if that new freckle is just a freckle or something more sinister. And of course, the beauty industry loves this moment of panic. They throw every miracle cream, serum, and skin tightening treatment at us like we're supposed to believe they'll actually do something. And I've seriously tried so many of them and been disappointed. We're bombarded with ads promising to reverse aging, and yet no one really tells us what's actually happening to our skin or what it really needs as we get older. Because here's the thing, your skin is not the enemy. It's the largest organ in your body. It regenerates itself, and it's constantly working to protect you. And yet we're conditioned to think of it as something we need to fix. But what if we stopped obsessing over wrinkles and instead focused on keeping our skin healthy? What if we stopped treating skin cancer as an afterthought and actually looked at how to prevent it? That's exactly what we're getting into today, because skincare is one thing, but skin health is the real game changer. And my guest today, he's not just working in dermatology, he's changing it. And he's challenging it. So let's get into it, because I'm nearly 50, and isn't it amazing? Dr. Philip Tong isn't just a dermatologist. He's a force for change in an industry that desperately needs it. He's the mastermind behind DermScreen, an AI-powered skin cancer detection platform, making checks faster, more accessible, and more accurate than ever. He's also the founder of Dermatology Junction, a clinic that's flipping the traditional model of dermatology on its head. He's all about early detection, smarter systems, and putting patients first. And for me, this conversation is personal. Growing up in Noosa, sunscreen was optional and a deep tan was practically currency. The result? I've had melanoma grow back 8 times in my right eyebrow. It's been cut out 6 times. I've gone through Aldara treatment twice, which for the record is revolting, but it works. And it kickstarts your immune system to attack abnormal cells. And let me tell you, it's not gentle. And through every biopsy, every "is this normal?" text that I sent him, and every treatment, Phil has been the calm voice of reason. In today's episode, we're cutting through the noise. We talk about what's actually happening to your skin as you age, what's worth your time and money when it comes to sagging skin, and how AI is shifting the game when it comes to skin cancer detection. We also get into how hormones, lifestyle habits like sugar, and stress can impact the way your skin looks and feels in your 40s and your 50s, plus the biggest myths we need to let go of once and for all. So let's get into it. Phil, welcome to I'm Nearly 50.
Thank you, Dom.
How would you introduce yourself in the least medical way possible?
Isn't that the way and the only way that I introduce myself these days?
Yes.
So I would say I'm a very curious person.
Mm-hmm.
I like finding out about new things.
Yes.
Venturing into spaces that make me uncomfortable. And I would say I'm the eternal optimist.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that.
My passions are the intersection between health, which is I'm a practicing dermatologist here in Sydney, wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Part of what I do is making people well, and I practice that both in my personal and professional life, but technology as well, and I guess that's why we're here today.
Yes. And yes, I think it is why we're here today, because you're doing some amazing things in technology, but we will talk about that later.
Yes.
But for now, let's talk about skin.
Love it.
Yeah. What's really happening to our skin in our 40s and 50s, and why does it feel like everything suddenly shifts?
That's an excellent first question. And, it all starts kind of after 30. So I know this podcast is about kind of 2 decades later, but the changes in your skin are quite noticeable even after the age of 30, whereby you're losing about 1% of collagen every year from that point on. But the changes are more than that. You start losing that elasticity in the skin.
Mm-hmm.
You start noticing pigmentation.
Yeah.
You start losing the fat. And those changes in your face is what we, as everyone, will see as aging. And that's normal.
Yeah.
And that's the real emphasis of this. As a dermatologist, we want to tell people that these are normal changes.
Yeah.
But we can help people achieve the skin that they want in the, I guess, freshest possible way.
And so with the collagen, because everyone's talking about collagen, is the collagen that you can drink, which I drink every morning, noon and lunch and afternoon, is that actually helping with building those collagen supplies or?
That's a really interesting question. And it's a very controversial question, actually. I think there has been research done in smaller mammals, say.
Yes.
And there is certain evidence that would suggest that the collagen that you're talking about, it's called hydrolyzed collagen. And it's often from protein like marine
Yes.
or bovine. They somehow make its way into the skin in those laboratory settings.
Right. Okay.
Now, whether that translates to human
Humans.
settings
Yeah.
remains to be seen.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I haven't seen that evidence yet.
Okay. Right. All right.
You can keep hoping, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? I always say that I love to buy hope. And I do love to buy hope because it's like, yes, I hope it works. And when people say, does it actually work? I'm like, well, I don't know because I'm not going to stop it because it makes me feel better.
But there's nothing wrong with hope.
Yeah, true. There is nothing
There's
wrong
nothing
with hope.
wrong with hope.
No. Well, as the eternal optimist, there's
Yes,
definitely
right.
nothing wrong with
That's
hope.
right.
The saggy skin, what actually works and what is a waste of money?
Let's start with what's a waste of money.
Yep.
Those topical skin firming creams
Okay.
with a lot of claims,
Yes.
beautiful packaging,
Yes.
probably save you money there.
Right.
I think we've touched on collagen supplements.
Yeah.
But there are a number of strategies that one can prove either both generally in the clinic
Yes.
to improve sagging skin.
Okay.
Obviously, hyaluronic acid fillers
Yes.
are available globally. And the reason why they work is because we lose the, if you like, the cement in between the bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
We lose that extracellular matrix and the hyaluronic acid that's in between them, keeping the skin looking plump. So there is no doubt that fillers do help and actually draw in water into the skin. But each has their own issues as well. Other ways of improving sagging skin include a technique called needle radiofrequency, whereby we deliver energy underneath the skin through these tiny needles. Again, that's very useful. Another way of delivering that energy is a technique called high-intensity focus ultrasound.
Yes.
That's
HIFU.
Also known as HIFU. You're very well versed, Dom.
Only because I've done it.
So those technologies do have evidence and are generally done in medical grade practices, yes.
Okay. So not the ones on the side of the road.
Well, only because these technologies have risks and it needs to be delivered by professionals who know what they're doing. And also to get the results that you want as well, right?
True. And to know how far you can actually push it.
That's right.
Because, some people get scared. And for me, I'm like, if I'm paying for it, I want the best results possible.
Yeah, it's to be able to know what is the capabilities of the equipment, the machine, and also balance that with the patient's skin type and the outcome that they want to achieve.
Can I just ask, you talked about hyaluronic acid. I can never say that word. I always get it mixed up. But topical hyaluronic acid, What do you think of that?
Probably just sits on the top of the skin.
Oh, well, I think it's been amazing for me. But again, I'm buying hope.
It may not be what you think is happening, but it probably gives you the impression that the skin is brighter.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what you see is working. So there are a lot of things that you can do topically
Yes.
that can help make the skin look brighter,
Um,
and that gives you the appearance of, youthful skin.
okay. I actually like that. Like there's the topical. So is that like the superficial, immediate, but it's not the longer term?
That's right. So and this is what we do for all our patients.
Yes.
There are things that you can do topically, so
Yes.
at-home treatments, the things that you can do in between. This
Yep.
is what I would call your homework.
Yeah.
And then there's the in-clinic treatments as well, which you can do, which we help you with.
Okay. So the two have to work in.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And what's the bare minimum skin routine that you think we should be doing from, you say 30 is when it starts to go south.
Apart.
Yeah, fall apart. But what about when you're like mid-40s or getting towards your 50s? What do you think the skin routine should be?
There's still hope.
Yeah. Good. Great. Thanks.
I would like to start with the 3 pillars.
Yeah.
Cleanser,
Yeah.
a moisturiser, and a sunscreen.
Okay.
And if you could add a fourth, if I may, topical tretinoin. If you could do those 4
Hang on,
things-
what's the last one?
Tretinoin.
Okay.
It's a prescription grade version of retinol.
Okay, right. Okay. Okay. And why? Why all those 4?
So a cleanser will help remove dead skin from the face.
Yeah.
And if you can incorporate a cleanser that has some anti-aging ingredients,
Okay.
right, like glycolic acid, that will help to remove the dead skin from your face. That comes through just wear and tear, pollution and so forth. And then a good moisturiser would help just to fill in those cracks and just rehydrate your skin. Again, from what we subject our skin to.
Yeah.
Pollution, sweat, makeup, etc.
Beach,
Beach.
swimming.
All of that, salt. And then obviously a good sunscreen makes a huge difference. Broad spectrum, factor 50, protecting against UVA and UVB rays. Again, the reason why that's so important is because the sun has incredible effects on breaking down collagen and elastin in the skin, and that's some of the telltale signs of aging, right?
See, it's so hard because I mean, growing up in Noosa, I love the sun, which is why I've had melanoma 8 times. But it's so hard to. Can you still go out in the sun with the sunscreen on or you're just saying hard no?
I have this conversation with my patients all the time, and we live in a beautiful country, which is Australia. And there's no reason why we should not enjoy that outdoor lifestyle that we're blessed to have. I just think we can just do it safely, which means
not in the middle of the day.
Well, a broad brim hat, sunnies, sunglasses, sunscreen, and reapplying that sunscreen every 4 hours, covering up where you can, long sleeves. And yes, try not to go out in the middle of the day would be ideal. Try to seek some shade. And I think that's the best you can do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so what was the 4th one? The
topical tretinoin.
Okay. Right. I'm not doing that.
Or maybe you are.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
What's your go-to treatment for looking fresher, not frozen?
Oh, very good. Tretinoin will be part of that because that really helps cell turnover. So what that means is that your skin, the dead skin cells are removed, pigmentation is reduced. So that's a really good foundation for that. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of toxin.
Yep.
Particularly well placed.
Hang on, and you're talking about like Botox rather,
That's right.
Can you
no
talk
brand
like
names here.
Yeah, okay. Well, what
Are we allowed to use brand names?
I know. I just not get that big. Come on.
podcast.
Yeah, you're 100%.
Yes, that is what I'm talking about.
Okay, right. Okay.
Well placed in the right areas, done judiciously, carefully, and with consideration.
Yes.
Can do wonders just to make you feel like
a bit fresher.
Fresh.
Yeah.
I had a presenter come to me yesterday, 2 weeks after her first treatment,
Oh,
And she was, towards, around 50.
around your age is what you
No,
were trying to
that's
say.
not what I'm trying to say. And she said, because all her friends were doing it, and she wanted to see what it would do for her,
Yeah.
and she was amazed what could be achieved, but she just felt that confidence that she gave, and then as a result of that, she was actually getting inquiries about additional jobs and
Oh,
that
really?
she was getting.
Yeah,
And I think it's that
interesting.
confidence
Yeah,
that
it
you
is.
get.
It's a little confidence.
Yeah.
The thing that really annoys me, what is the age that someone should be starting?
Mm.
Or, I mean, I know it's a personal thing, but
Yeah.
like when you're sitting there and you hear an 18 to 21-year-old talking about their injections because it's all preventative,
Yeah.
is that something that should be considered, or is that?
I think that's very controversial.
Yeah.
Prejuvenation is a term that's being used, preventative rejuvenation. And I think when there's no obvious lines that are static, so lines that are present at rest.
So you're talking about wrinkles?
Correct.
Yeah. Like in normal person's language?
Of course, I
Yeah,
should be
okay,
like
yeah.
wrinkles at rest,
Yeah.
right?
Wrinkles at rest, great.
That's probably the time that you should consider it. So I would say I don't offer those types of treatments
Yeah.
to 18-year-olds. I would only offer it to those that I can actually see visible signs of
Wrinkles at
wrinkles.
rest. Wrinkles
That's
at
right.
rest.
That's
Okay,
right.
great.
That's right.
It is like, it is very interesting. What are the other go-to treatments?
There aren't. This question gets asked by dermatologists all the time. There's not much you have to do to your skin to make it look healthy.
Yeah.
Moisturizing, vitamin A, which is
Yeah.
tretinoin that I mentioned before, a good sunscreen
Okay. All right.
is a good foundation.
So many of us don't realize that our skin is being impacted by perimenopause. What is going on under the surface then?
So they say that when you go through perimenopause, estrogen has a huge impact on collagen content.
Mm-hmm.
So they say there are statistics that inform us that once you hit perimenopause or have gone through menopause, collagen drops by up to 30%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And that's where that sudden cliff, if you like,
Yeah.
changes. And unfortunately, there's very minimal ways that you can help with that. There are, of course, hormone replacement therapies, HRT, that you could do to help with that. But, if you're losing collagen that rapidly, there are very few things that can replenish that. But there are, of course, treatments that you can do that are available in clinic to help with that.
Yeah. And do you think so? Because I do know a few of them, like Sculpture, or what they're talking about now is Redurin, or the salmon sperm one.
Correct.
Do you think in the lead up to going through perimenopause or menopause, it's better to try and stock bank those collagen stores so that when it does fall down, there is more that is there?
And to add to that, Profilo is another.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Profilo.
That is but everything that you've listed is treatments for that. We don't have the evidence as yet to say whether stock banking prior to menopause could actually have a preventative effect post-menopause. It'd be very interesting in, say, 10 years' time
to see what
see those that have been using these types of treatments in their 30s and 40s compared to those who have only started after turning 50, whether or not that early intervention makes a difference. Now, that being said, this has been done
Well, it hasn't been done in Korea for such a long time.
It has been done in Korea, but that being said, I haven't seen any studies that actually compare that to those that have started it later.
Okay.
So it's that providing that control trial that hasn't been done. But, all I could say is that there has been studies done on treatments such as topical tretinoin. Those who have started earlier in their life do look better than those who have started later.
Yeah.
Those who have used botulinum toxin, Botox, as a brand earlier in their life, they find that the amount that they need to use later on
Right.
is
It's
less.
reduced. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so there are those types of studies that have
Yeah.
shown that.
Okay. So what you're saying is start now to start preventing, the impacts of aging.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah. Like depending on what works for you.
That's right.
Yeah. And what can we do now to start supporting our skin through those hormone changes?
I think we have mentioned some treatments already,
Yeah.
but they can be very expensive.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not necessarily accessible to everyone, but by all means, if you can explore those treatments, I think they are worth exploring.
Mm-hmm.
But moving beyond that, I think looking at needle radiofrequency,
Or RF needling
RF needling,
in normal. Yeah.
yes, RF needling or needle RF,
Yeah.
which is how they call it on the street, as they say, and HIFU.
Yeah.
Those are treatments that may not be as expensive.
Yeah,
They still
okay.
are treatments.
Yeah.
That might be able to provide longer lasting effect.
Okay.
Because what they're doing is actually, again, stimulating the body's own response to produce elastin and collagen.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, so we've talked about skin.
Now,
yes.
the last probably thing that one can do, and people might be against this, but if you want potentially bang for buck,
Yeah.
a facelift, obviously. You can't go by.
Well, if you've seen Kris Jenner lately, oh my gosh, her 70-year-old, she looks.
Well, that's
than
right.
Ken.
But I think she's had a combination of things.
Oh, okay. What do you think she's had done?
I think she's had both injectable treatments as well as surgical treatments.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that and I think it was done very well.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I think that ability to know what can be achieved with non-surgical and surgical strategies is why you go to someone that is a true professional.
Yeah. And I think that it is, the right thing. And the other thing is it's your face, it's your skin. It's like you do want to make sure that you are going to someone trusted.
Well, I think Kris Jenner can afford that.
Yeah. I think someone was telling me the other day that after that facelift, there's now a 3-year wait list.
That's a surgeon.
For that surgeon. I was like, what? Anyway, they still put their name down.
That's the US for you.
Oh, it is. That's the US. So you've been part of my melanoma story for years. What do most people not understand about skin cancer?
That even though you've done the damage, say, in Noosa, you've done the damage in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, protecting your skin now from this point forward can still have a measurable impact on preventing skin cancers later on in life. And they've proven this in the lab.
Right.
Yes. So there was a University of Queensland study that actually says, yes, we do suffer damaging the DNA from the UV rays early on in life. We know all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But protecting your skin now can still prevent those effects of DNA damage on cells that then transform into skin cancer.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people say, oh, I've done all the damage, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, okay.
Is not correct.
Right.
So it's
That's
still
actually
worthwhile
right.
protecting your skin and not giving up hope.
Okay, good. Like that hope. Besides SPF, what can actually help protect our skin from long-term damage?
So again, drawing from what's been published in the literature, there has been early evidence of the use of a vitamin B supplement, nicotinamide, that has been shown to reduce precancers and some skin cancers.
Right.
So that's available as a supplement in pharmacies, and you just follow the instructions to take it. And for some dermatologists, they swear by it. I think a lot of US dermatologists do recommend it to their patients.
Okay.
I do know it's popular among some people who have spent a lot of time outdoors, and some patients swear by it.
Okay.
And it's very safe.
Yeah, okay. And I'm sure what you don't use or what your body doesn't use, it just excretes anyway.
Correct. And the idea is that it quenches all those free radicals that gets generated from from UV damage and DNA damage.
Right. And what was it called again?
Nicotinamide.
Vitamin B, nicotinamide.
Mm.
Okay, great. For people with a history like mine, what extra steps should we be taking? I think just from what you said is making sure that the damage can be stopped. That's a big one that I've taken out.
I think threefold. One, have daily habits and routines to help prevent future occurrence of skin cancer, and that includes taking supplements, wearing sunscreen, checking yourself.
Yes.
So either in a mirror or with the aid of, if you've got some photographs in the past.
Yeah.
I know you keep a really excellent diary.
Yeah. Yes.
2, have a healthy relationship with your GP and or dermatologist. And I think that's where having that relationship is very good, because that way you can, if you're worried about something, you don't feel embarrassed to go to them.
No. Yeah.
To speak up. Because I think the worst thing that can happen is that, I think most people actually know that that part of their body doesn't look quite right, but they don't want to say anything, or they feel embarrassed that they might be wrong, or that it's just nothing. But I think having that relationship with your doctor can actually make a huge impact regarding early detection.
I think it is so important. I mean, you know that I love Dr. Susie because she's just the best, and will make sure that you are looked after 100% of the time. But it is a game changer having a doctor that you can actually talk to and say, hey, what about this?
Yeah.
And not feeling, because, in the past I've had doctors that are so like bedside manner is they're just not warm. They don't want a relationship with you. They're just wanting to get through to the next patient. But when someone actually cares about you, it makes such a difference.
That's right. It's a real partnership, I think,
Yeah,
between the health professional and the patient.
Yeah, and I mean, I've learnt, because I've got amazing people around me like you and Pascal and Susie, but you do have to have that relationship, and you have to own it as well. Like if you personally do not own your health, the doctors aren't going to.
Yes.
Like they care, but it's on you to own it.
Yes. And the third tip that I would give would be have some kind of record, and it could be a record on your phone. You could have something a bit more structured and standardized, like what we do here at DermScreen. It doesn't really matter, as long as you have some kind of record keeping to allow you to track your skin over time. I think then it empowers the patient outside of the consultation, because look, at the end of the day, I'm only seeing the patient at one time point. And that's, I can't follow you at the other time. So I kind of need the patient to be part of this checking process.
Yeah. But you know what I love about DermScreen, and I always say this, like with everything, is it's a baseline. Like it is your baseline check-in, and you only have to do it once. I mean, you update it, but like once as your baseline. And I know I've sent you so many spot checks going, oh my gosh, I've got this, is this? And you go, no, it was on the original photos. It's fine. It doesn't look like it's changed. But if I didn't have that baseline, I would be freaking out all the time. And I think, that the record keeping, but having photos that you can refer back to, like that is a game changer.
They say with more data points, you can make better decisions, right?
Yeah.
And that's just more data points.
That was such a medical thing to say.
Oh, sorry. I've been labeled again.
Why is early detection so crucial?
I think when it comes to certain types of skin cancers, like melanoma, early detection makes a huge difference. But also, using tools like what we do here at DermScreen means that we can also reassure patients.
Yes.
And because the last thing I want happen is a young person, because they are anxious about their skin or are anxious about their moles, they ended up having it cut out and resulting in scars.
Yeah.
And I have seen these patients. And not that, getting it cut out was necessarily the wrong thing, but if we had a second set of eyes or an opportunity to follow that up, could we have saved that person an additional scar.
Mm.
And I think these, over your lifetime, these scars accumulate,
Yeah.
right?
But they also grow. As you grow, they grow as well.
Sure. And I think you need someone who can actually take that entire journey of your skin, so to speak, into context and say, hey, yes, by all means, and this is the same mole, but you've kind of grown taller or sideways.
Yeah. What are you saying, Carol?
I'm not saying anything. And it's just the same mole.
Yeah.
Right. And like I say that to a lot of my younger patients that are coming to see me. So as you grow taller, this mole will stretch. And that's normal. Don't be alarmed.
Yeah. And I think that you do need that steadying voice. And I know, because when I mean, the first 3 times it was cut out of my eyebrow, it literally looked like I was in a bar fight because I didn't go to a plastic surgeon. I just went in clinic to a dodgy doctor that I shouldn't have. And the gap was massive. But, over time, you get to know the doctors and the people on your team, and they help correct it.
I do feel for patients because it's here in Australia, there are different people that checks your skin, and everyone has different levels of qualification. And as a consumer, it's hard to actually see where along the qualification line those people sit. At the end of the day, as long as you have a good relationship with that doctor, GP, dermatologist, plastic surgeon, that's all that matters.
Yeah, okay. All comes back to the relationship and owning your own.
I think so. I think
well.
there's an element of empowering the patient to be comfortable to come to you when they feel that they're worried about something, but at the same time, reassure them to say, actually, and be confident enough to reassure them to say, actually, we can watch that.
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
Yeah, and I think that's what you do really well, is that I normally come in freaking out and you go, no, let's look at the photos, or no, we can just watch it. I'm not worried about it. Just put your mind at rest.
But your journey, you're not alone in this journey.
No.
A lot of people being diagnosed with melanoma do have that health anxiety. They're checking their skin all the time because they don't want to get another melanoma. And they don't want to be another statistic. And I don't blame them. But at the same time, it's important I don't feed into that health anxiety.
Yeah.
And be that a voice of reason to say, hey, let's just watch this. I'm not concerned right now, but we're not going to let it go.
No.
We're going to keep an eye on it.
Well, and I think it's hilarious. Justin said that he came to see you the other day and I'd given him 20 things circled on his body.
Confidentiality here.
And he was just like, oh, Dom, she's just her anxiety levels about everything. Just let it go. But I think you get cautious and you just want to make sure that it's checked.
But I don't expect consumers or patients to diagnose their skin problems. And it's completely acceptable to flag something. But then we need a process to be able to ensure that those patients who are concerned, their concerns are addressed in a timely manner.
Yeah. I think that the timely manner is a big thing. So we talked about DermScreen before. And so what it is, it's total body photography in like my language, not yours.
Sure.
What is it, and what are the photos that you do need to get done?
So DermScreen is actually an entire platform, as you said in your introduction. It's incorporating photographic technology, which has been around before, but a process with which we're able to efficiently but comprehensively flag lesions of concern by taking individual spot photos, but also do a whole scan of your body in a very standardized way. By doing so, we have, as you say, your first baseline, and then we use that baseline scan for future skin checks. For my higher risk patients, I see them in between, but I effectively use DermScreen as a triaging service. Something that I think could be done more efficiently here in Australia, because when we receive a referral to have a skin check, there's no photos, there's no estimate of how long it's been there or how severe it looks. But by actually having and reviewing these photos with the person that's been there, and this doesn't have to happen at the same time as well, and that's where we can improve access. that's when we can actually prioritize patients that should not be sitting on a wait list
Yeah.
and bring them forward and have that reviewed in person. And if necessary, do a biopsy, then them sitting on that wait list. And for some dermatology waiting lists, that could be months.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Imagine having something on your skin that maybe you may or may not be aware of, something on your back, on the back of your leg, or maybe you are aware of, but this just can't get in. Imagine waiting all those months, having to then realize, oh, I should have done a biopsy. But if you could compress that to a matter of weeks, wouldn't that be better for everyone involved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that when I first did the full body photography, it's always a bit like, oh, this is a bit weird. But at least you go, I've got it. I know it's there. I've got my 5 or 6 shots of every part of my body.
Yeah, that's
and it's just that safety net.
I think as we get into the whole concept of, whole body health assessments, I think that's an emerging part of health that we're seeing. And as that becomes much more standardized across Australia as well as globally, the concept of actually stripping down to your underwear and having this scan performed may not seem as confronting as it sounds.
Yeah. And I think it is. It's, the initial first one, and then you're like, oh, whatever. If it's going to help me, I will just get it done. And how are you using? So we've talked a lot about AI and how, because you've got a lot of different photos of melanomas, moles, lesions, as you like to call them. How are you using AI to help with the detection?
So that's a really interesting point. A lot of the AI tools are not available for, I would say, clinical use.
Yes.
So a lot of the AI tools we use for more as a check. But at the end of the day, a dermatologist is reviewing every scan, every mole.
Yes.
Where AI comes in is actually improving the workflow efficiencies with the report turnaround.
Right.
And helping the reports look very structured and beautiful. But ultimately, what will happen is, and we're seeing this with some of the bigger AI companies out there, that they're actually able to digest an image like a radiology film and actually produce a report faster than a reporting human.
Yeah.
And I don't think skin is that far away. So we're actually poised to capitalize on that advancement when it is ready for clinical use.
And when do you think it is going to be ready?
I think within the next 5 to 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that'll even made speed to getting assessed is a lot quicker.
Absolutely. We can get through more patients, and it's actively being investigated by the government right now.
Yeah, right.
The government has invested just under $10 million to set up these scanning facilities all around Australia to assess the ability of technology to actually address the burden of undetected skin cancers that's just in the community, just because the workforce to address that is just at its seams.
And I mean, that will also help with the size of Australia as well, because obviously getting into regional Australia is, the higher risk of skin cancer because they're not detected, or getting to a dermatologist or a GP.
That's right. So DermScreen has a separate platform that is more to assist doctors in regional areas, whereby say getting to a dermatologist could be hundreds of kilometres away. So I support GPs, say, as far west as Broken Hill, as far south as Ulladulla, as far north as Port Macquarie, actually even Toowoomba in Queensland, whereby they can send a photo and a short statement summary, and I actually can reply back to them and allow them to actually take care of the patient within the home, within their location.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. It means you get eyeballs on skin and an opinion, and then the health practitioner, GP, feels backed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have to make that decision themselves. And it just means that if we can actually get a mole or a lesion assessed sooner by simply using special tools to take a photograph, getting it sent to me, and I could provide an opinion, that just means that, again, time to treatment is shortened.
So with all of this, and I mean, we've spoken about it. What about self-guided checks at home? Like, how often should we actually be looking and checking our skin?
I think it depends on whether your own risk factors as
Yeah.
well. But I do say as a minimum, maybe quarterly.
Yeah.
And if you could do it kind of just after a shower in front of a mirror or something like that. And there are guides to help
Yes.
you examine. If you have two mirrors, it's even better because
Right.
you can then see your back. And we don't have to do it on this podcast.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of techniques to help you examine your skin.
Yeah. Okay.
After that. So, but of course, if you've had melanoma, for example, it's
Yeah.
really important to check the scars.
Yes.
It's
yes.
also very important to feel your lymph nodes as well.
Right.
So, the neck,
Yeah.
under the eye. It depends on how aggressive the melanoma was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for those patients that have a more aggressive form of melanoma, it's also important to incorporate that as part of your self-checks as well.
I think even the last time that it came back, it was in the scar. Like for me, it was in the scar. And I actually had one of those magnifying mirrors and I was like, what is that? Oh, there's some pigment there. And that's when I saw that it came back. So it is, the scars are really important to check.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really important that we know the patient's history and check those scars accordingly.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else we need to know about skin or checking our skin before we move on to the great stuff like sugar?
I think we've covered it pretty well.
I think the key things are good relationship with your GP and dermatologist. You own your health.
That's right.
It's not on the doctor to own it because they've got so many patients that they are saying that if it's not you, like you've got to be doing it. Start now. So make sure that the skin routine is starting now.
Yes.
And it can be customized dependent on where you are and irrespective of the damage that you have done to your skin in the sun, you can still make a difference.
Spot on.
Yes. 8+. Okay. Now let's talk about the fun stuff.
Yes.
Like just the sugar that we were eating
I
before.
love
Sugar, alcohol, sleep, stress.
Yeah.
How much do they actually impact our skin?
You know how I was talking about those free radicals before?
Yes.
Okay. They're producing free radicals in the skin and are aging you.
Right.
Yeah. So if we can limit those types of stress on the skin.
Yep.
Seems unachievable, but it is achievable.
Just in May, it's unachievable. Maybe in June it won't be.
I think it could go a long way.
Okay.
But I mean, these are vices that one can have
Yeah.
now and then, but there are certainly much worse vices that you can do on your skin.
Yeah. Okay. Like baking in the sun.
Like smoking.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like smoking really ages you.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. Good. Thank goodness I don't smoke. What's one small lifestyle shift that makes a big difference to skin health?
Drinking plenty of water.
What if you think water's boring?
Add a squeeze of lemon.
Okay. It's such a boring drink. And I know I need to drink more, but it's so boring. Anyway. Okay.
It might stem off the sugar and the
Yeah, okay.
all the should we both partake?
Yep, I'm going to have a sip of water now. And I know I do need to take a bottle with me wherever I go. So I think that's going to be one of my try this before 50 challenges is for 2 months, take a bottle wherever I go. Great. Is there such a thing as glow from the inside out? Or is that just wellness marketing?
I think when you look after yourself, both from a physical standpoint, you're working out, you're eating well, you spend the time to take care of your skin, take care of your hair, take care of your nails.
Yeah.
You have that confidence. And that is the glow that I think people have.
Okay. I think that's a great spin on it, the confidence. And it is taking the time to invest in you.
That's right.
Like even now, I think about the exercise that I'm doing and I used to run a lot of marathons, but now I'm like, my 80-year-old body will hate me if I'm still running. My knees won't work, my joints won't work, but it is taking that interest in you.
I was watching an old video of Warren Buffett teaching some high school kids about life lessons.
Yep.
And he describes the human body as an automobile. You only have one car,
Mm.
right? And you need to make sure that you look after that car
Mm.
the best that you can because you've only got one.
Mm.
And that changes your mentality about your body, I think.
Yeah.
Because without that car, you can't go to places.
No, you can't.
So the more that you can actually think about looking after yourself, both physically, mentally, emotionally, the further you can go
Yeah.
in that car.
Mm.
And I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
It's a really important message for young people, I think.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's a great thing. What's the most overhyped trend you're seeing now?
The ice water facial.
Oh, really?
Have you seen that?
Yes. I may have the cryo. What is it? The cryo.
What's the point?
I don't know. It just makes you feel like, okay.
Like you've woken up.
Yeah, that I've woken up, which I need to do. It's great it's great for soothing the skin
Yes.
if you've had a treatment that
That's
hurts.
true. That is true.
Yeah.
The equivalent of that is putting a spray bottle in the fridge and then spritzing your face.
Yeah, all right. Okay. So the ice water
I just
on
find it
face.
hilarious.
Oh, okay, good. And why do you find it hilarious?
Oh, because people are doing it all over the internet.
Yeah, I know.
And, putting a bucket, ice takes time to make.
Yes.
You have to dunk your face in it. Water gets everywhere. It's messy. Is it messy?
No, I've got the sticks. The
Oh,
Kairos.
sticks.
The Kairos.
Okay, you've
Right.
elevated it.
I've elevated it. So I just get the sticks out, put them on my eyes. But I do only do it after a treatment.
Okay.
Otherwise, I forget. It's one of those things that I'm not really good at. What's something people think is helping their skin, but is actually doing more harm than good?
I would say exfoliating.
Oh.
So I mean, before a lot of skin cleansers have these kind of beads in them designed to kind of take off that top dead layer of skin. I think that could be drying your skin unnecessarily.
Right.
So there are good cleansers nowadays that can do that chemically with glycolic acids and so forth. So I don't think it's good to over scrub.
Okay.
And that being said, in addition to that, if I may have a second one, the use of toners as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so toners have a property that kind of helps to have that squeaky clean feeling, particularly if you're wearing makeup. But modern cleansers these days have, in my opinion, replaced the need for toning.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, and it's one less step.
I agree.
How good's that? What's one thing most people over 45 wish they'd started doing earlier? I know you're wearing sunscreen.
No, I probably would say the use of tretinoin or a vitamin A, topical vitamin A.
Okay.
I think if you can start that in your 30s, you will do a lot of good later on.
Why didn't I start that over 40?
You didn't meet me back then.
What's the one skincare myth that drives you mad?
Is that patients say, oh, I'm indoors all the time, so I don't need to wear sunscreen. And you'll be surprised how important it is to make that as part of your routine. Because even if you're indoors, you might be driving to work.
Mm-hmm.
The front windshield is not tinted.
Yes.
Right? You're sitting in an office, maybe there's a window. You're getting UV coming through that window. And don't forget the effects of television screens, computer screens, blue light, all has an effect on your skin. So I believe wearing sunscreen as part of your daily routine has a lot of anti-aging benefits.
Okay.
In addition to obviously preventing skin cancer.
So make sure you wear sunscreen inside.
Yeah, it may just make it part of your routine.
Okay.
All right. If it means you cleanse, moisturize, you put your sunscreen layer, then your makeup, that is your routine.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't deviate from that, even if you plan to be inside the whole day, even if it's a rainy day.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, what about if it is a rainy day?
Still sunscreen.
Okay. So it's just part of everything you do is put the sunscreen on.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could write a midlife skin manifesto,
Right.
what would be the top 3 things on it?
I know it sounds really boring, but I'm sure all dermatologists would agree, wearing sunscreen, topical tretinoin, and getting the occasional skin treatment, I don't care what it is, as long as you're starting, whether it starts from chemical peels, needle RF, or some kind of treatments, whether it's injectables, biostimulators, and so forth.
Hang on, what's a biostimulator? Like there's collagen producing ones.
Collagen producing ones.
Yep.
They will at least help set you up for success later on.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, Phil.
Yeah.
This has been a great conversation to have. I love talking about skin. I can always talk about skin and skin treatments.
Yes.
Before we wrap up, if I could try just one thing before I hit 50, something that shifts my perspective, pushes me out of my comfort zone, or makes me do something different, what do you think I should do?
I've heard your other podcasts.
Yes.
And some of the guests that you have who come from incredible backgrounds and amazing life journeys probably have much more perspective than I will ever be able to give. But if I was to try my best to suggest something to you and your listeners, it would be something that one would have done in their early 30s. So now if you're heading towards 50 and you want to, I would encourage you to write a letter to yourself. Speaking to your future 60-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah, in the persona of your future 60-year-old, and listing out and describing your life in your 60s or 70s and what you've achieved in that period of time, and describing your life, who your relationships are, where you are in the world, what you've done in the last 10 years, 10, 20 years, and frame that up.
Nice. What, put it away until you're 60 or keep it now?
I think keep it next to your study or maybe in a room that you have for reading or quiet time, and just reflect on that.
Okay, good. So it's actually like a vision for what the next period or the next decade will be and what you'll need to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. All right, I'll start that. God, what do I actually want to do now?
But you're visualizing.
Yes, you are visualizing
your future self and writing it to your present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to do. Well, it just gets you out of your head of now and thinking about where you want to be.
But write it in the present tense.
Yes.
As if you've achieved it.
Yeah. Okay, good. I keep getting homework after these podcasts. Seriously. Anyway. All right, Phil, thank you for sharing your expertise and for me putting you on the spot, even with things like beef tallow, and pushing the boundaries of what skin health can look like. You've reminded us that aging isn't something to dread and that we can still start now, irrespective of what age we are. And I do love the glow from within comes from confidence. And it's so true. If you've got confidence, it really doesn't matter what's happening around you, and taking care of yourself. To everyone listening, if this chat resonates with you, go book in your skin check. Go and check out DermScreen. I do think it is amazing to have a baseline of your body so that you know what has changed, what hasn't changed, and it does help with that skin or that anxiety. And maybe finally toss that overpriced toner away and make sure that your cleanser is actually just a cleanser with a little bit of acid in it. And if you love this episode, subscribe, send it to your friends, and even maybe to your mum. And maybe you should also take on Phil's challenge to write a letter to your future self as if it has already happened. Something that pushes you and challenges you, because I know that it gets you to think about yourself. So let's all try and be better to our skin, and we can start now, because fuck, I'm nearly 50 and isn't it amazing? Yeah!